In this fourth video, we'll pick up where the third left off. In the third video, we looked at how to format, again, under the format button here, a text box. We looked at how to format a shape as well. This video will specifically address, I'm going to add a new slide here, how to format an image file, maybe a JPEG or a PNG that you can drag over. So again, here are my image files, and like I've shown you in previous videos, I just kind of minimize them down so I can maintain my workspace. And so I'm going to drag over this image, for instance, and again, just to drag it into Keynote, it's as easy as that. And you know, at first glance, the first thing I'm going to do is remove the background, okay, using the alpha function that we discussed previously. But before I do that, just kind of give an overview of what are the options that are available to me. Stylistically, we can add a border, okay. I'm not going to want to add a border if I'm going to eventually get rid of the background here anyways. The shadow will become relevant, but again, we'll probably remove the background first. You can do it now, and it'll adjust. And then sometimes opacity comes into play as you start to build out animations and things. Again, that'll come into play a little bit later on. If you actually notice here, there's a significant difference between formatting of a shape, because you can have text inside of that shape, whereas if I'm here with an image, we no longer have that option, okay, which is perfectly fine. We would have a text box somewhere else to highlight something. What we get are some image options. And essentially what it is are the buttons that we already have. The Edit Mask button and the Instant Alpha button. Those are the ones that I'm going to use typically with these buttons up top anyhow. Last but not least, you have the Arrange. It looks exactly the same when you format arrange an image as it did, again, with the text box and the shape in a previous video. Okay, essentially what that'll be is it'll allow you to assess the location. The one thing that I'm going to stress here with an image more often than anything else, because the image is scaled relative to what I'm looking at, is to make sure you have constrained proportions on, so that when I scale this, it's going to go up equal in height and width so that I don't distort the image. You know, if I turn this off, and you can distort the image, which we wouldn't want to do. To undo that, I'm going to hit a Command Z button to undo, okay, which is also here, Edit, Undo. Okay, so let's move forward with removing of the background in preparation. I've done this already, but I just kind of want to show you a little farther what happens once I'm done removing the background. Let me turn the opacity all the way back up here. So, Instant Alpha, again, the first time I do it, I'm going to find a place that's not that important, hit done, and then go back into it, and then do my Instant Alpha again, because it seems to be more precise on the second and subsequent alphas. So again, I'm going to drag here, that's good, drag here, that's good, drag down here. Anywhere where there's going to be a space, all I'm doing is selecting and dragging, and I'm removing the white background. Okay, remove the white background. There's a little bit in between the ribs here I'll also get. And very quickly you can remove backgrounds, and this is going to become nice because now I've removed the background. If I put it up to the blue, you'll notice that all the entire background has been removed. Okay, occasionally you don't get a perfect edge, and we could actually hide most of that. One of the tricks that I've learned, this one looks pretty good, but one of the tricks that I've learned to hide some of the notice I don't have constrained proportions on. So one of the ways that I hide some of the edges, if you were to zoom in here, you can see there's a little bit of white there, a little bit of white underneath here. One of the ways to hide that is actually to go into Format. I've got the image selected here now, right? Format, Style, and apply a white shadow. So do a drop shadow and make it white. And my go-to here, blur, is 6 points. And offset is 4. That's sort of been my go-to. And you'll notice now, as I step back and you go full screen, you know, the white shadow kind of softens the edge. And quite frankly, as we make this move in and move out, it's only on the screen during the video for a matter of 15 to 20 seconds, if that. You're never going to pick up sort of the if there are any flaws. Again, this image looks relatively good, but that's a way to kind of hide some of that. If you alpha'd out a white background. If you alpha'd out a black background, you might use a black shadow instead. Okay, so again, just to look at how I can edit this image, you've already seen that I can apply a shadow to it. Most often I'm using a drop shadow, and my go-to blur and offset are 6 points and 4 points respectively. You can change the angle of this. Again, I don't find much value in that, but you can do that if for whatever reason that fits with what aesthetically is on the page. And again, we'll talk about opacity at some later time. All right. So that's really the basics, quite frankly, of what I do to an image very commonly, and you'll become very efficient at that as well. One other thing that I'll kind of mention here is the value of doing this inside of Keynote is, again, my ultimate goal here is in preparation for an iBook. This will eventually become part of the visual aspect of a video. But even after all that's said and done, what's nice is I can do a Command C, which is copy, and open up, say, an iBooks author file. I'm going to open up my iBook here, okay? And I'm going to go to a random page with text on it. And I'm going ahead and selecting inside of that text and then hitting a Command V for paste, okay? It's not going to want to go where I wanted it to go. So let's move it on over here. And the nice thing here is because we've removed the background, okay, you have the ability now to have that text wrapping effect as well. That was a simple copy and paste out of Keynote into the iBook, which is very, very, very efficient. You don't need to save out to an additional file and then bring that file back in. It's a simple copy and paste so long as you have both windows open, right? And again, you're going to say, well, this doesn't look great. Well, this is a different type of demonstration, but I can make it look great by doing a specific wrap and various ways you can kind of accomplish this. But essentially, like this, I can have it to where it only wraps on one side, and it works out just fine. So again, just to illustrate why I really like doing some of my image processing inside of Keynote, and again, this is the ultimate goal, is to get to where we can capture this using screen capture technology like Camtasia for Mac to create a video. But even after that's all said and done, and you still want to, embed static images into iBooks, much like I've done, say, right here, I've got a static image there. Or for instance, if I show you something towards the Burns segment of the book, you'll see I've got a static image there. This was all processed inside of Keynote, but I can also use it as a static image to help support the narrative simply by a copy and a paste. So again, the goal of this demonstration was to show you the basics of modifying an image within Keynote, and truthfully, the major differences between it, there's not much you need to do to it, between it and all the things that you would probably do to a text box here or a shape here. So again, this was more towards editing, or better said, formatting an image file.